Yow. All right. Day, I don't know. Day 80 something. Doing all right today. It's a good day. Earlier video today. We're not last minuting this one just as much. We're getting back on track. We're getting back on track. I believe this is the first of the series of the Brendan returning to form. I'm significantly today for the first time in probably 10 days. I'm able to like go longer than 30 seconds without repetitive, anxious, circuitous, obsessive thoughts. That's a plus. Again, normally I don't function like that, but a lot of things happen at once, yada, 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 almost killed my cat. And now we're left with other thoughts. Thoughts that we have to ask ourselves. You may be thinking, because this is a series about losing 80 pounds, that the question I have to ask myself is, am I losing weight? Will I lose weight? Boo, 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 boo. I know all that shit's kind of wacky right now. I'm not worried about that. That's going to sort itself out. Those questions answer themselves, with scales and, how I feel. The real question I have to ask myself is, now that I'm going to stop taking topical minoxidil. What is topical minoxidil? Some young lady in the audience might ask. Topical minoxidil is the active ingredient in minoxidil is the active ingredient. I don't know what active ingredient means. Topical minoxidil is Rogaine. It's the shit that men put in their hair to ideally not lose it as fast. I can't take it anymore because I can't deal with the stress of potentially killing my cat by having minoxidil on my hair. I'd rather be bald than hurt my cat, to be perfectly honest with you. You could always take oral minoxidil, but there's got to be a reason to take topical, right? There's probably a difference. This is the type of stuff people tune in for Brendan to ask the really hard hitting questions. What is the difference between oral and topical minoxidil? It's gonna like give me like hair on my eyes or some shit if I take it in pill form. That's what it's gonna say. Dear God, the main difference is, oral has significantly more. Oral has some side effects that I think are all fine. Heart palpitations. I should probably just go bald, right? Heart palpitations, fluid retention, is gonna make you look fatter. Eye puffiness, not great for me. Chest pains and insomnia. No biggie. No biggie. Oh, and you'll get generalized hair growth all over the body. All right, well, I guess I'm not taking minoxidil anymore. Yeah, so it's like you could take topical minoxidil. I could not lose my hair in the front. Ideally, that's what it's doing. It may not even be working, by the way. I've been taking it for a long time, and I'm bad at taking medicine. If I was a girl, I'd be pregnant like every 6 months if I had sex with men. I forget to take it. I'll take it like daily, and then I'll not take it for like 4 months or 2 weeks or 3 days. Like, I forget to take this shit. Same with the finasteride, which is like a pill I take for my hair. Ladies, men do groom, okay? I'm grooming. This is male grooming. You put creams on and all these things. I take dangerous medications so that my hair is less thin. It's tough. It's tough to be me. It's tough to be. Look, you only get so many things. Granted, I'm married, and I have never had a problem with women before, ever. Humble brag. It's just never. So I think, and if you're, let me focus myself up a little bit here. If you're a guy and you're watching this and you struggle with ladies, let me explain something to you very simply. You need to be self-involved, have your own shit going on, be focused on your own improvement, and not care one way or another whether someone likes you. If you line all of those things up, you're in a good place. Now, what's next is, are you charming? Are you good at talking to women? Do you understand the differences between men and women? Do you understand the lack of differences between men and women? All of these things are things I have never thought about. I can't lie to you. I'm probably not a good person to give advice on this type of subject because this has always been very natural to me. I was raised by just my mother, so it's and what the say my father had in my growing up was very like, never hurt a lady, never make them cry, never hit a lady. It was very like traditional, which is good. Those are good lessons, but it was very traditional, like, if you ever hurt a lady, I'll kill you. That type of thing, which is all a dad really needs to say. Right? Everything else can come from your mom. So I was raised around ladies. I have never had an issue with this. I also learned to kind of shut down my um I shut down my like sexual desire at a very young age because I knew I was so gross and fat and ugly and no one would ever want to be with me. That sounds really fucked up and sad. And I guess it kind of is, but it's also like I've always been the type of person to accept reality and accept my responsibility for things. I was born with that in me. I don't remember that being instilled in me. I've always been a person where if I have X problem, I go, I'm the problem, I need to fix it. I have a problem, I need to fix it. I've never put blame on, I've always valued that above all other things. Some people would define that as character. Because I've been that way with myself, it means I've also always been that way with women. So whenever I felt a woman doesn't like me, I never thought, oh, what she fucking, she likes other guys, she fucking some other, it never occurred. I just thought, oh, I don't have something that they want. That's all. And it never occurs to me to like be angry. This is the problem I understand modern men run into, and I don't really know how to help you if you feel that way. It's all your fault. It's all your problem. The reality is, women have to be. I realize I'm jumping all over the place. I didn't intend to make a long video. I'll make a separate video about this someday. This is just the shit that's on my mind. Okay, I'm sorry. This is not a formulaic good video. Okay, I'm not actually giving advice. I should give an advice for women to talk to women video or something. I should. I would have a lot of fun doing a lot of videos like that. But just on the topic, women are extra selective. Why? Good question. They're extra selective because if women get fucked, what a horrible way of saying this. I'm sorry. They can become pregnant. Huge issue, right? So the risk factor for a woman is significantly higher, right? I can go out and fuck everyone I want, right? The worst thing that could happen to me is I contract something, which would suck ass, right? But a lady can have sex with one wrong guy and end up with 9 months of being in an extremely distinctive and disadvantaged health position that then leads to the creation of human life. That's a problem, right? So they are inherently more selective. Now, ladies are probably significantly less selective than they used to be. We certainly live in a more sexually open society than we did when I was a little kid. But where was I going with that? Why am I talking about this? Because my hair is all thin and shit? Look, it's the reason I take finasteride is because I like having hair. I like having red hair. I like having my hair. I've always liked having hair. I don't want to lose my hair. I'm short, I'm fat, and I'm losing my hair. You don't want 3 problems like this. You want to be selective with the ones you have. I can't make myself taller, and it's never occurred to me. I am losing weight, but it's like, whatever. And then my hair. I'm married, so these things don't really matter, but they also do. My wife doesn't want me to be short, fat, and bald. Like, she didn't marry a short, fat, bald guy. She married a short, thin, haired guy. You understand what I'm saying? She deserves, for me not to be short, fat, and bald. So I have to figure something out. I can't fix the short part. Yeah, that's what today's video is about. Look, for if you're a guy and you're insecure about the way you look, you have to find your way to security, and you need to take all of the pressure off of the opposite sex. If you feel a anger or a negativity towards women, you are wrong and you need to reassess it. I know that's frustrating, right? Because it sounds like maybe I'm being super progressive. Maybe I'm being super liberal with my approach to gender relations. Here's the reality. You can only control what you can control, and you can only control yourself. So you cannot put the pressure on other people. Whether or not you think it's fair or unfair is not relevant. You only have what you have, and you cannot dictate what others do and do not want. And so everything else becomes irrelevant based off of that. I really like talking to women. How do I save this as a married person? Hold on. That doesn't mean I go do it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I feel I'm comfortable with women, and I get energized by in conversation, engagement, these types of things with the opposite sex. It's more exciting because I find women to be interesting, and I like the idea of talking to them. Should I delete this video? As I'm speaking, I'm like, what the fuck are you saying? What I'm saying is men behave differently around men, and men behave differently around women. Women are the same way. I feel extra motivated in a passive way. Generally, when I'm talking to the opposite sex, I just find it more fun. I find men significantly more boring. There could be an argument that like the reason I'm not saying I find like women more interesting because I think like what they're saying is like fascinating. That's not necessarily what I'm saying. Men and women can be equally fascinating in that way. What I'm saying is all men. I'm not talking about just myself, all right, even though I kind of positioned it that way. You take on a slightly different persona when you talk to the opposite sex. Doesn't matter if you're married, if you're straight, if you're gay, if you've been in a, if you're asexual, none of that matters. You get tweaked a little bit in a certain direction, and I have always found it much more personally entertaining to talk to people that are of the opposite sex, which would imply I'm comfortable talking to women in general. Why am I talking about this? Where am I going with this? I don't think I could save myself on this one. The point I'm making is very normal, all right? I'm just not making it in a good way, okay? What I'm saying is for me, my appearance has never been that much of an issue to me because I know how to fucking communicate and I respect everyone. But also I'm indifferent. I'm pathologically indifferent to what happens to me. And people find that appealing because it reads as someone that knows what they want and doesn't cling or need from others. Nobody wants to be needed desperately by someone they don't know very well. These are the blunt things I notice in men when it comes to relating themselves to women. And again, also, all of these things I'm saying are not things that should be going through your head when talking to a girl. When you talk to a girl, you should have nothing in your head but normal thoughts. It should be the same as talking to anyone else. That's not what I'm saying happens to me. I'm not saying my thoughts change when I talk to a girl. I just can tell I'm better. I'm on my game a bit more. It's like I have a cousin, my cousin Mike, not a girl. I have a cousin, and whenever we're around each other, I can tell I'm significantly more on my game when it comes to being funny because he and I have like a perfect humor match. Very often, we're very good at making each other laugh. It's like that. I feel that way. I feel like a slight click towards like improving the way I speak and improving. All of these things are just normal things that happen when men and women are in the same room together. It's when you point it out and describe it, it starts to sound kind of weird and funky. Well, crucify me, all right? I've been in a state of extreme panic and anxiety for the past 10 days straight, and this is the first day I've been able to speak more than one sentence, all right? Will you fucking relax? See, can't you tell just by looking at me that women would love to talk to me? Look, I'm married to a beautiful woman, all right? Fuck off, okay? All I'm saying is I don't want to be bald and fat and short. Nobody wants that. Male, female, nobody wants that. But I can't take oral minoxidil because it's going to generalized hair growth all over the body is not something I want. Now, I'm not a very hairy person, contrary to popular belief. I'm looking at myself in the camera. But I don't want systemic side effects such as headaches, dizziness, fluid retention, eye puffiness, palpitation, chest pains, and insomnia. I don't want that. I also already have insomnia. You know, in like a, not really, I'm not really an insomniac. That would be like a huge problem. I just don't sleep. Taken by mouth and absorbed into the bloodstream. Well, I'm glad they clarified that. All right, well, I'm going to go. I regret everything I've said in this video, and I realized that I probably didn't make a lot of sense, and I just said I like talking to women. I like them, which is great. A great thing to say for someone that's been with the same woman for 10 years. I mean it in a normal, clinical way. Stop yelling at me, okay? All I'm saying is become comfortable with yourself, become comfortable with the opposite sex, and if you ever feel the urge to blame others, especially another gender, which is a pretty big generalization, if you ever feel the urge to blame them for the way you feel around them, you need to hit yourself in the head with a frying pan or a mallet or some other comedic but bludgeoning object because you're out of your fucking mind and you need to be checked, you dumb idiot. And about being short, look, man. Almost every woman I've ever been with is significantly taller than me because I'm so fucking short. It's like not even funny. I like never became an adult. It's really fucked up. Like I'm just not an adult in that way. And girls don't like that. That's true. Girls prefer guys that are taller. That's just ordinary. There's nothing wrong. You just gotta accept certain things like that. But you know what else girls like? Many other things. Girls can have a preference, and then that preference can be slightly altered when they meet someone that has other qualities that outweighs that preference. Do you understand? So for short guys, and the reason I harp on short guys, especially for ladies, if you're still watching the video, which it's like, God forbid, I'm so sorry. Everything, I'm not like a sensitive guy and everything I say is bad. I could not tell you how well, like, organized my thoughts are right now, in the sense that the fact that I'm not saying crazy things, because I want to say a lot more crazy things, but I'm saying very normal things. All right, this is as good as I can do. Um, Short ladies, it's like, oh no, how do I get a dress that fits? For short guys, if you go to like the internet and you type in short guys, you just get like suicide prevention hotlines. So this is like a huge issue with men. For me, it was never an issue because I just never developed an insecurity about it. Um, I used to put in my Tinder profile taller than Prince. For those of you that don't know, Prince is a musician, a very famous, very cool, very sexy man who was significantly shorter than I am, but had tons of ladies all around him, probably because he was rich and famous and talented and one of the greatest musicians who's ever lived. I purposely put that because it said, A, to the viewer, that to any clever, person seeing my Tinder profile, it said, A, this guy's short, right? Because I'm relating myself to Prince, so clearly I'm very short. It said, B, I'm confident because I'm comparing myself to Prince, which is a very ballsy thing to do. And C, I'm not worried about it. Like, I have a sense of humor about it. All of those things lined up in my favor. Do you understand what I'm saying? Um, Never backfired whatsoever. One time, my friend Val and I, before we were friends, we were going on a date, and I said, before we met, I was like, by the way, I'm like super short because you're like a big Russian broad. She's like a giant Russian, giant, like, and she's like, that's so weird. You tell me you're short, you have some sort of problem? And I was like, no, you have a problem. I went back on everything I said. I was like, I don't have a fucking problem. I'm just bringing it up. And then we like argued about it. And I was like, shh, come to this bar in Hangzhou, China, and shut the fuck up. And she did. I'm not saying you should talk to people that way. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking now, and I should never allow myself to say any of the things I've said. I know I didn't say anything weird, all right? It's just when you speak off the cuff and then you put it out on the internet, it's like, what am I doing? Especially about something like this. It's kind of nuanced. Anyway, the point being, everybody relax. I don't want to lose my hair. I don't want to lose my hair. We have to find something to do about it. We have to find a way to not have me lose my hair, but also not have me kill my cat. Those things have to be distinct from one another, okay? Thank you, and I love you.